All right, TNE fans, we have today our spotlight on Jessica Larche, WTKR News Channel 3 reporter in Norfolk, Virginia. Hi, Jessica. Thank you for coming to do our interview, doing this, agreeing to this phone interview. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much, Nicole, for inviting me on. Really, really excited. Have been up since 3 o'clock this morning since I anchored the morning show. Um, so, it's a long day, but I am really, really happy to share how God has been moving in my life and the journey that I've had with all of you.
That's amazing. So let's kind of, embark on that journey. One of the first questions I want to ask you is when did you know that you wanted to get into broadcasting? I saw the other day on Facebook that you did a video at the age of 10 fundraising for your middle school. Like, did you know then that this was something you wanted to do for the rest of your life?
I did. I did. I always, growing up, really enjoyed telling stories. And, in front of the class, I would tell stories and got involved with public speaking. My aunt was really, really instrumental in that. And I knew it was what I wanted to do. And, I can remember being 10 years old. It was at my elementary school, and we were doing a fundraising video for a scholarship program in Jefferson Parish. And it was just that moment. I think God was giving me a glimpse of what was in my future. And so, fast forward 21 years later, it has been and continues to be an incredible journey, being able to live out the dream that I had when I was a little girl.
That's awesome. So how did you know you would go from being a cute little girl from New Orleans to a head female anchor for WTKR Channel 3?
It's so funny. Life has so many twists and turns that we can learn from and really grow from. I knew that this was what I wanted to do. And it's funny, in my mind, I always thought I would do it back home in New Orleans. But the way life unfolded, this is the most incredible experience that I've had here in Virginia. Um, I went to Florida A&M University, where I studied broadcast journalism and graduated in December of 2007. And really, my training and education at FAMU is really what set the stage for my success. FAMU's journalism school is unmatched, and I'm very grateful that I was able to go there and get my training there. And I worked for about 3 years in Jackson, Mississippi at the Fox affiliate, and was in the process of knowing I was ready to move to a bigger city. Had applied back home in New Orleans, thought I would get this job, and I didn't get the job, and I was devastated. And so I didn't know what was next. And then I got a random phone call from a news director in Norfolk, Virginia at WTKR. And I did not know, but some of my mentors had been passing around a link to my work. They flew me up for an interview, and almost 5.5 years later, this has been an incredible journey here. And I know that God brought me here for more than just my career. I've grown spiritually here. I've grown in terms of my health and fitness journey, losing 100 pounds over the last 5 years. I've met my husband, and it's so much more in store that has happened here that I never would have imagined 5.5 years ago.
Wow, that's amazing. So you mentioned that you went to a HBCU school. How did that impact the way that you view the black community?
Well, I always wanted to attend a historically black college. I mean, that's just the way I was raised. My mom is a proud HBCU grad. My grandmother, my aunt, my cousins, um, and so it's of course nothing against the traditional universities, but I had that pride that I wanted to attend an HBCU. And so, my decisions were between Southern, Howard, and FAMU. And FAMU's journalism school is really what set them apart. And I earned several scholarships, all my full ride, everything was taken care of. And I knew the moment I stepped on FAMU's campus that that's where home was going to be. That's where I was going to grow. and receive the best education. And so, you asked, did it change the way I view the Black community? It made me that much more proud of who we are as a people and the potential inside of us. I was at SAMU the days of Philip Agnew, in charge of the Student Government Association, and all of the student unrest regarding the death of Martin Lee Anderson. And for me, as a young journalist, being able to be in the middle of that and cover that story, and also be a part of the student movement, was incredible. You can't match the type of love, caring, and support and accountability that you get at an HBCU. And so, what view did I have? I was already proud, but that sense of ownership, of really, pride in who we are and the potential that we possess, was just magnified, as I was at Florida A&M University.
Yeah, and you mentioned Phil. Phil's an awesome, amazing guy. We both were business majors, so he's super cool guy. Really give back to the community. There's always been like a really big cause for him. One of the things,
Hmm.
one of the things that when you say that makes me wonder, what are some of the ways that you try to give back to the community to make a difference with people of color through your news?
Well, I actually, through my health and fitness journey, losing, close to 100 pounds over the last several years, I do a lot of volunteering with the American Heart Association. And so I speak to, it can be church groups, it can be community groups, it can be young, old, in between, women's groups, men's groups. I really, really try to share my story and my journey, with as many people as I can, especially, those of us in the Black community, because heart disease and stroke, affect us at higher rates than everybody else. And yes, a percentage of that is hereditary, but the big portion of that is our lifestyle. It's the choices we're making for food and our lack of exercise. Some of the statistics with that, 80% of those people who die from heart attack and stroke, 80% of those deaths could have been prevented with a change in lifestyle and exercising. And so, I was headed down a really rough path, at my highest weight of 267 pounds. And I had a high blood pressure scare. And it was, I think God's way of saying, hey, you got to get this together now because this is only going in one direction. So, I was able to have that moment where I had that epiphany. Now, does that mean that it's easy for me to eat kale and flaxseed and have to turn down, indulgent meals sometimes? Even though it's not easy, but it's worth it, and it's worth my life, and it's worth, me being here to share that message. And again, especially in the Black and Latino community, the numbers that we see in our hospitals, the number of us on blood pressure medication, the number of us who have, heart disease and blood pressure issues and don't even know it. We can reverse this epidemic, but we have to have the knowledge and choose to make the decision to do so.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because I remember on April 1st when your co-anchor had did a prank on you, having you do a report on flaxseed trying to
Yes.
kill you. So that's really cute. I'll put a link at the bottom of the video so people can watch that and see how hilarious that was. But I think
Yeah,
that
people know I don't play with my flaxseed.
yeah, I really am super proud of you for making that decision and making a decision to educate people on the knowledge, um, and empowerment that it takes to make a difference for your life to help other people to see the value in theirs. That's amazing, Jessica. And that's one of the reasons why we love you so much. Um,
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
so you had just mentioned that you have recently, over the last 5 years, released. I like to say release instead of lost because I feel like if you lose something, you looking to find it again. So released over a hundred
Yes, you
pounds.
know what? I agree with you. Release, Jesus.
Release it, release it. So you released over 100 pounds. How do you feel that's changed your view about yourself? And have you noticed that people treat you different than when you were a plus size diva?
that is a great question. Something, has it changed my view about myself? What this journey has done is allowed me to know that if I put my mind to something, I mean, truly put my mind and my efforts to something, I can accomplish anything. And it's one thing to think you can; it's another thing to know you can. And so this journey has certainly done that for me. Um, you know, if anyone has ever, really had a huge goal or fantasized about a goal or whatever, I would fantasize about, losing the weight and things like that for such a long time. And so it just became this distant goal that maybe one day I would reach or I didn't know. Um, but, God allowed a fire to be lit under my behind. Um, and I'm grateful that I was able to and have to continue to make those decisions. Um, one of the things that also I learned, I had to be completely in love with Jessica at 267 pounds. I couldn't make this about, oh, I hate the way I look, I hate this, I hate that. Those kinds of motivations, in my experience, only last for a little while, and then you're right back on the vicious cycle. I had to do this out of complete love and desire to treat my body better. And, I had to do it from a place of love. And so when I say that, people ask me, for before and after pictures. I don't call it that. Um, I just call them side by sides because one picture is not better than the other. The difference between them is just better choices. That's it. Um, and do I notice that people treat me differently? I don't. I haven't really noticed that. I do get a lot of love and support from people here in the community and people who've known my struggles. People just saying, "Keep it up. We're so proud of you. You inspire me," and that kind of love that people give me helps me to keep pushing because this is not an easy journey, especially when you choose to be so open and public about it. I have bad days. I have days where I don't go to the gym or I don't eat the right things and I struggle. Um, so, but giving that type of love and and a push for accountability and embracing and cheering on, getting all that back, it makes it worth it. It makes you want to push forward. It makes it bigger than how you feel. Um, so, if anything, I've seen more love and encouragement and support, not because I'm a smaller person, but because I'm doing something that inspires other people, and that's the most important part about it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Cause it's funny you say that because I recently had lost like 75 pounds, and I
Oh
saw,
wow!
yeah,
Congratulations!
well, yeah, okay, well, not release. So I saw, uh,
Release, release.
so I saw that the episode where you had to give your 22s and 24s to dress for success, you gave them your clothes, and I saw that look in your eye, like it's hard to give away this outfit because I remember you got memories connected to the clothes. So
Oh yes, you can remember
yeah,
where you were,
yeah,
exactly how much you weighed,
yeah,
like you know all of that, and it's so clothes, especially
yeah.
when you're struggling with weight, or have so much emotions attached to them.
Yeah, I even found
And
myself like in that same issue. Like I was like, I felt bigger when I was smaller than when I was actually bigger. I felt more like in my own skin because I had took on the identity as I'm a big girl, I'm a diva, this is who I am, hear me roar. And then being small, I felt like a fraud.
mm,
So that was a journey I had
that's
to
it.
go through. Yeah,
That's interesting. That's interesting. And it's hard for people who've never been on this journey to understand that
yeah.
it's not just about losing weight.
Yeah, because it's a part of your
It's
personality
it's
too. You adapt different personality traits that is connected with your size. Because everybody will say, nothing beats the confidence of a big black woman. When you plus size and you a sister, you feel good about yourself. You one in your skin. You set the bar for like really how people see and perceive themselves. You think about like when Tyler Perry plays Medea. Medea's supposed to be, you know, a big black woman, like, cause he grew up in like that New Orleans area as well. So kind of like big black
Mhm.
Southern woman who accepts who she is and don't take no stuff, you know. So you know that personality trait when you start looking like you know, a quote unquote supermodel or like a slim, you know, girl, it's hard to still have that like old school like big girl Southern charm, and you know, in this new body. So it's identity thing. So to hear you say that, it just kind of makes more sense to me. So I think that that's really cool.
Well, yeah, it's about, and that's something that as a community we have to address, because you know health is not about being skinny, and beauty is not attached to one specific size. It's everyone. Everyone is beautiful, and my focus, I had to turn it to health, and so I had to look a lot less at oh, what size am I? And it's like, what does my blood pressure look like? What does my body fat percentage look like? How am I eating? How am I exercising? And so it was looking more at those real markers for health than what society dictates. You can have two people standing next to each other, and one can be heavier than the other, but one of them can be, in terms of numbers, healthier than the other.
Yeah.
So it's just about being educated and um, really truly looking at what how health is really defined.
So speaking of health and beautiful, healthy life decisions, I saw that you were also recently engaged to a fellow HBCU school gentleman, and I just wanted
Yes,
to
ma'am.
know how had that connection to y'all both going to HBCU schools um, really created a common interest for you? Like, how did that loving, beautiful relationship come about? Because I see your pictures, like I'm like, wow, that's what real love looked like. You know, that these people aren't just, you know, hey, we've been together 5 years, let's put a ring on it. These people, like, this is what really happy, committed people look like when they're in love. So congratulations on that. But can you speak more about that to people?
Yes. First of all, thank you so much. Sean and I are beyond blessed, and um, he is the love of my life and my biggest cheerleader and biggest supporter, and I am for him. And it's I prayed, years before Sean and I even met, or even became serious, that my husband would be my best friend. And God has done that above and beyond for me. And, Sean and I have a lot of fun. We hold each other accountable. When he and I started dating, I, had been on my journey for 3 years. And thank God, health and fitness was already important to him. So we complement each other in that way. I'm more of the healthy meals person, and he's the harder workout person. And so, when one of us is slacking, we give that love nudge, as I like to call it. Um, and so it truly is beautiful to experience this life with him. And we have so many goals and things we want to do to change the world in the best way possible. So, um, thank you for that. And again, we are just so grateful to be able to experience this love with each other. He is a HBCU grad. He's a proud graduate of Hampton University. And that's the first thing you will know about him. If you talk to him more than 5 minutes, you will know that he graduated from Hampton University. He graduated with a business degree, and he is a huge supporter of HU, which is right here in the Hampton Roads area. So we often go to like games, homecomings, different events to support. And so, of course, going to the HBCU was important to him as well. So we bonded over that very early on. And so when we raise our children, of course, we're going to encourage them to go wherever they want to go. But obviously, as two HBCU grads, we're going to be pulling, we're going to be pulling for the HBCUs, because we know that that's where they will get a really, really great, well-rounded experience, and that support and that love that we got at FAMU and at HU. So, it's really great. Sean is really involved in his community here, and a lot of people know about him and his success. So it's, we get a real joy out of knowing that he and I are together, and that we're both HBCU grads. And so we know, that if people are looking at our information or looking at our resume and looking at what we've accomplished, and they see FAMU or they see HU, and it's like, you know, that fist in the air, enjoy thing. Look, we come from the HBCUs, and we're out here making it, and so we're just really, really excited.
That's wonderful, Jessica. That is so amazing, and you welcome. So happy for you on that. And speaking of a powerful impact, uh, what advice do you have for young girls and women that want to get into TV and news?
One, I'd say go to Florida A&M University.
Yes.
um, but really, obviously, I'm going to encourage folks, wherever they feel God is leading them for their higher education. Obviously, I'm a huge supporter of HBCUs, but truly, Florida A&M University's School of Journalism is one of the top in the country. And so I would definitely start there, go to a school where you're going to get that real life experience. At FAMU, we were doing newscasts, out shooting our own stories, anchoring. We got all the experience that we needed to be successful before we walked across that graduation stage. So that's really important, number one. Number two, you have to be willing, you have to be persistent. My first job, I didn't get my first job until about a month after I graduated from college, and had been sending out resume tapes and talking to this people, and I graduated with a 4.0. So I was devastated that nothing had hit for me before I graduated, and even immediately after. So I would tell people to be persistent, keep sending your work out, don't give up. Even if it looks like people are interested, somebody will be. Doesn't matter if you get a million no's, all you need is that one yes. And so don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. Be persistent and keep going for it. The other thing I would say, when you're starting, be okay with starting small. My first job, I didn't make much money at all. I mean, I was driving distance from home, and I would drive home to get groceries and come all the way back. I mean, it was rough. It was rough, and a lot of people would say, well, why would you endure, such a small salary, and you're supposed to be on TV and doing this and doing that? Well, you make sacrifices, and that's what I did, and I'm very grateful for the experience I got, because it grounds you, it makes you very humble, and it makes you very appreciative of other opportunities that come your way.
That's amazing advice, Jessica. I think that that's going to move and change the lives of not only young women, but young people in general, or anybody that's trying to make a change in their life, to see an impact in something that they love. I always say, make your passion your paycheck, and I think that that's awesome that you made the
You need to put
decision.
that on a t-shirt.
I will, with TNE at the bottom, and we'll sell it everywhere. So, lastly, where can people find you and follow your growing successful career? And how would they be able to watch you if they live outside of Virginia? And what are the social media outlets and ways in which they can contact you if they want to learn more about your journey and some of the awesome things that you're doing?
Yes. So I am on Facebook, and it's Jessica Larche. That's Larche. And that's my verified Facebook account. So you'll see the little blue check mark by it, and I'm wearing a blue dress in it, so you'll be able to identify it. I'm also on Twitter at Jessica N. Larche. Also on Instagram at Jessica on a Journey, and that's where I post, a lot of my workouts, health and fitness stuff, healthy foods, things like that. And then I also have a blog site where I kind of share all the highs and lows of this journey, and that's jessicaonajourney.com. And then also, if folks want to catch the newscast early in the morning, they can join us on WTKR.com and just click on the live stream button. And it is certainly there to be informative And we're also pretty entertaining. We have a lot of laughs on our morning show. And I also do investigative reports as well, so you can see all that stuff there as well.
Yeah, I've watched your show. If you guys, if you haven't seen the show, Jessica is not only hilarious and amazingly funny, she's super informative and knowledgeable. So it's worth getting up early in the a.m. to watch her show. She is definitely a ball of laughs and an enjoyment to watch. So thank you, Jessica.
Oh,
I will
thank
be
you.
putting the links below for all of the links that she mentioned, and also the links to be able to subscribe to this issue of the magazine to learn more about Jessica and some of the different things about why she was chosen for our multicultural 120. So look for that, guys.